Hello Product Junkies, my name is Saurabh, Senior Product Designer, Design Mentor, Freelance Design Consultant. Today I'll be talking about what does it take to work as a solo product designer in any product-based company. You must be wondering what sort of function they perform, how do they collaborate with multiple teams, then this video is for you. And along with that, I'll be talking about how to carve a case study if you're working somewhere, how to craft your case study if you are already working somewhere. So without a further ado, let's get started.
If we didn't have the research properly, the product will never be success. That's what I want to prove. And
I'll be telling you like how you need to apply and how you can get into them. So hi Stephen.
Hello.
Welcome to the one-to-one mentorship session with Saurabh.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for.
Yeah, before starting it out, can we just have an introduction from you, like who you are, where you coming from, and like how you want to get into your use.
Yeah, as you know, my name is Stephen, and I'm from Mizoram, and I passed out my Masters of Computer Applications from Assam University, and after I went into engineering part first. After I worked as an engineer, something tackled my mind because during our MCA project, we are given a task to be design the airport apps. That time, this UX UI, I started to know UX UI because every time when the college project is on, the interface that we have made is very, very terrible. So I want to change that thing. So I started to design user interface from Photoshop and stuff. And after that, I dive into internet and get research done by myself. But I am not satisfied with the Google certificate, something like that. I want get a career in this UX UI design. So I joined the professional bootcamp in Designers Academy now. And after that, after I joined Designers Academy, I am well ready. I am very happy that I am into this field. And
that sounds good.
Yeah, I first joined my company in Cogmac in Noida as a junior UX. But there are lots of problems and stuff which I didn't know it would come to me. That's why I'm really happy to see your Instagram profile. I check it, all of it, and I really glad that I can be here.
That sounds really interesting. That sounds good. So you just before moving forward, I would like to clarify a couple of things.
Okay.
You are currently working now?
Yeah, I'm currently working right now.
As a UI UX designer?
Yeah.
Itself? Yeah. And is it a product-based company or a service-based company?
It's a product-based company. Cogmac is a product-based company. And something we are working on futuristic stuff, machine learning and stuff. But one thing is I am the only UX designer because as an entry level in this field, I really need an experienced person to guide me, to tell me what to do and what not to do in the company itself during the project also. I really lack of that thing, so I really want to switch my company. So just not they just treated the UX UI designer as a graphic designer. That's what we are being treated here in my recent company. I have lots of stuff. Sorry, if I might.
We're gonna talk about one by one. That's great.
Okay.
And I really like the people who already figured out what they want. You already know what you're looking for. That will going to be quite easy for me to make you understand as a mentor also, right? And as you already know about me a little bit, let me give you a little description also. You already know my name, right? And about my experience, I do have around 5+ years of experience into product design. Whereas I started my career into B2B SaaS products, and recently I was working with a Podium. It was B2C app. It was more of a fantasy gaming app. So that sort of experience I have, and I can definitely help you into growing into the career and laddering up in your career also. So that's amazing. So one more thing, can you just like put more light on your company, like what they do, how they're doing it, how big your company is, right? And like how do you work, like whom you're working with, maybe it's your managers, co-founding team, or someone else.
Yeah. Our company is like the team size is around 51 to 200, uh, which is based in Noida and in Mumbai. And we are working on a project called Brewmac. Brewmac is a project that I am working on right now. It is a smart bartending machine. Uh, we are working on like how the app and that machine will interact. Basically, like
Got it.
it's something like there is a if like to define the Brewmac, like it's a smart bartending machine. Like we can scan the QR code and the website itself will show the menu and stuff, so that they can buy the drink. And I was working this project as an architecture mostly.
I see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
so this is the only product they are having, or do they have any other product also? Like I think the DotPay also having the similar product. DotPay is also in the similar space where you scan the QR code and they ask you to just, or you can just see the menu of that restaurant, right? And then you can order it from there. Like McD is also using the same thing, right? So it
like,
is just
the product is like it's something like the machine itself is having a container which can give the cocktail, so that they can select which drinks that they want. They can select it and buy it, and after they bought it, every time they want to drink that thing, they will just go near the bartending machine, the Brewmac, and they will just scan the QR code or and it will go itself. Something like
that sounds interesting. Your product looks good to me. It's been that you already have a good product company. Now I would like to know, before jumping on your problem statement or your roadblocks that you are facing in your current company, I'll be much more interested to know, like how did you get into this company? How did you like figure it out you want to join this company? So
yeah. Frankly, like as a and as an entry level, like we have a placement cell in designer academy. And,
okay.
Before, like one of my mistakes is, can I jump a little bit farther to
That'll work. We have enough time to talk about.
yeah.
No worries.
Like before, like I started, I finished my professional bootcamp in last year December, and I started applying from January. And before, I was really interested in gaming company, where I really, because like during my college days also, I built my own game and doing
That's amazing.
yeah, like I in my state also, like in Mizoram also, like all Mizoram gaming companies is there. So my game development got second position. That's how I interested in gaming person. So first of all, I started to search for gaming companies, and I have one offer in Gurgaon. The company name is Digitech XR Digitech. But because of my leg sprain, I cannot relocate there. And after that, from designer placement itself, I got 3 job more offers as a junior UI UX. But because of my relocation process, it's all stuck, because like they didn't offer the remote job. So I was still there in Mizoram, and my fracture of leg, and I cannot move anywhere, so I can't relocate that time. That's how I first failed in my that's how I first failed in my job. And after that thing happens, my leg got better, and I started applying again from May. And after my second move, it's really hard to crack the job again.
I see.
And after that, I went very desperate. So I started searching for internship, and
Great.
in internship, some companies offered me, but like mostly I just applying randomly, like whatever I see. And after that, like this Cogmac come and like, they offered the intern position, and I joined an intern position.
Got it. So you have joined Cogmac as an intern, and now they
Yeah.
have converted into a full-time employee. Is it like
Yeah,
this?
yeah, but like they just hired me for contract basis. After this pre-back is done, then it will be done. I think my project will be hand of this last week of this month, and the term will be
Okay.
over.
End of this month, you're going to leave this company. That means somewhat.
Yeah,
They might extend the contract also, but as of now, it's like will be your contract will be ending this month on
yeah,
in September. Okay.
yeah.
Got it. And how did you landed this job? How many case study you were having in your portfolio at that time?
Right now I'm having 2 case study in my portfolio.
And what sort of case studies these were?
First, my case study is in Designers Academy. That the period of study, I have Magic Lamp, which is a service provider, and the other one is Vera.ai. That is a mental chatbot for mental health chatbot.
Mental health, basically.
Yeah, mental health
chatbot.
chatbot anonymously.
So how does that help? Like people can anonymously talk with the chatbot, right?
Yeah,
And they can share their problem, and chatbot will be helping them out,
yeah,
healing their mental health and all.
yeah. Because like the problem that this is Vera.ai is a little bit special for me because this is the case study that I work is based on my friend's problem. He lost his job, but he didn't want to tell no one. He didn't want to tell no one. He didn't want to talk to the friends. Also, he didn't want to talk to anyone. So he just
I see.
need some counseling or someone to talk about anonymously. So
I can understand.
that's how I came up with this Vera.ai.
No, that sounds really good. And with those 2 case studies, you have landed up in Cogmac.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna take it from here. So now you are already working in Cogmac as a junior UI UX designer, right? And your contract would be ending pretty soon, this month itself, as you mentioned. Okay. Now you want to grow as a designer, as you have mentioned earlier. Like the Cogmac guys treat you as a graphic designer. They
Yeah,
might be
exactly.
throwing you some problem statement, and they were expecting you to deliver visuals of that, right?
Mhm.
So just wondering, like, are you guys following design process there? Do you do back and forth on design process, or how does that work?
Yeah, like they give us the documentation of what they have needed, and they know that like Cogmac have hired me because like I have some background in machine learning. I know how the architecture, and right now we are Cogmac is having already BlueMac. The product is already there in 2016, but the version itself get updated. Version 1, 2. Right now we are working in version 3 because
Right.
they this is how I crack my interview because like when they tell me like we are going to work on BlueMac, that project really interests me because I go to their website checking out, and like I try to ask their HR what in which place this product is launched, something like that, and I try to talk to someone who already used BlueMac. And one problem that I figure out is the machine itself did the purpose, but it doesn't have any interaction with the users. There is a bridge. There is a breaking bridge. Like the machine did the purpose only. So I want to build that bridge to like so that the user can interact funny, something like that, easily.
Understood. Makes sense. Now, like, can you just help me out with your design process? How do you, like, if someone gave you a problem statement in Cogmac, so how do you take that problem statement and figure out the solution? Can you just tell me about the design process?
Yeah, like right now what we are working, or the process I prefer.
So
The
what sort
process-
of process you follow there?
the process I follow is like after they give us the documentation, they told me to work in. They just give me the problem statement. After the problem statement, I create the architecture. I create all the architecture, like the machine architecture. Also, I work on. I redesign the machine architecture. So after designing the architecture, we just jump into machines.
I see. That's the gap. So do you guys take like user insights into consideration? Do you guys talk to the users also?
I told my project manager that we need to do some research so that we can gain insight, like something like if we know the user journey, what problem they are facing, so that it will be easier. Like if we get at least one scenario to solve. But they told me that there is no time for doing that. So like the product need to be shipped first. The product needs to be shipped first. So they just told me to design the architecture, and while designing the architecture, I met with engineers, and they told me what will be working and what not will be working, something like that. And after that, we just jumped directly into business.
I got it now. Now I got a complete picture of how Cogmac works basically. Now we can talk about the roadblocks. Like what sort of roadblocks you are facing, and on top of that, what sort of companies you are looking for. As you've said, like you wanted to switch into other companies, and what sort of companies you are targeting. On behalf of that, I'll be telling you like how you need to apply and how you can get into them.
Yeah, like I really want where I can where experienced senior will be there, and so that we can how will I say I really want to prove right now. I really want to prove to our current engineers, that if we didn't have the research properly, the product will never be success. That's what I want to prove, and I
100% agree.
I want somewhere where they value the UX part, not only the UI.
So we're gonna put it this way: you want a company where there has to be a design team, right? And where there has to be a senior designer who will be guiding you. It's pretty, and I do say it also to my mentors or to my mentees. If you are a fresher and you are joining any company, please make sure to join the company. You will be finding a design team so that you can grow with them, you can learn from them, you can collaborate with them. You're going to learn about the best practices. If you're joining a company there where you are the only designer, where you are the solo designer, in that case, there is a whole lot of problems with going to come. As you said, as you do not have the experience into corporate, as you do not have the experience into product base, so that's why you don't have any idea like how to pitch to the stakeholders to get into research, right? How to pitch to the stakeholders to follow design process so that we can generate the optimal solution. Like they think if we are doing something like user research, competitor analysis, and all sort of things, it might not be that beneficial. So you'll have to talk about that ROI also, right? So if you already have a senior person there, they can make them understand. So your work will going to be quite easy, right? And you can learn from their experiences also, learn from their knowledge also. So as you said, you want to get into that sort of company. So you'll have, as you said, you already have 2 projects, right? And now you are having like around 2 weeks of time in your current company. Almost not 2 weeks, but almost 2 weeks you are having. So I would say whatever the project you are working now, make sure you are following the best or preferred design process that you have in your mind, right? So that you can get the good case study out of it, and then carve your case study in such a way where you can talk about the ROI of your design process rather than as a designer what you are doing, right? Talk about why did you do that. For example, you told me like you were working as an information architecture, and no company in this world follow the ideal design process, right? It's not about your company, it's about every company, whether you're working in Google or in any other company. It mostly depends on the context of the project you are working on. Sometimes you might be having budget problems, sometimes you might be having time deadline issues, right? So you'll have to adjust your design process according to that problem statement or according to that company. But what you can do, you can figure out the best tool possible for your problem, and you can use that. You can utilize that tool. In case of your example, as you said, you were working on the, you were directly working on the information architecture. That's good. But prior to that, what you can do if they are not allowing you to understand the research, to talk to the users and empathize with them. What you could do, like you can just conduct the competitor analysis that you might have learned. Product that you told me, that you told me, the similar product DotPay is having. There's a company called DotPay. They might be your competitors. Talk to your product managers, talk to your marketing team who are your competitor. Then analyze them, conduct competitor analysis, and then figure out like what sort of gaps or what sort of opportunities you have in your product. But in 2 weeks, it's not possible. So whatsoever the problem statement is given to you, work on that, but make sure that you are convincing your stakeholders. And whether you work with the Google, Amazon, PayPal, or any big company, you will have to always convince your stakeholders. Then you'll have to talk about the ROI of your design process, right? If you're following something, so you'll have to talk business in that. Otherwise, they'll not be allowing you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because for company, a lot of people don't understand UX. You're the expert into it. You'll have to sell it to them. You'll have to educate them. Like, bhai, or like, sir, that's what I know. That's what I feel. If we're gonna bring those insights to the product, we'll be able to design intuitive experience. We'll be able to design user-friendly product. So that's how you can talk about. And you'll have to always talk about the ROI. That's where storytelling comes in picture, right? When you are selling your designs, you'll have to create a story around it. How that story will gonna benefit or impact the business. In business, it's all about revenue. It's all about cash flow. How you're impacting that cash flow or that revenue, that's all matters. Like all these things to my like mentees also, to my students also. Like if you are working with a company and these sort of challenges you'll be facing, nobody will gonna allow you to do research. Nobody will gonna allow you to follow your ideal design process. So you'll have to educate them. You'll have to make them understand the importance of research. But if it's not happening in the current company, let it, like you can try, right? If they're gonna allow you to do that, that's great. If not, what you can do, prepare a very detailed case study. Right now you have very less amount of time. You are having around 12, 13 days, right? Within those days, now just pick the best project that you did in Cogmac, and how did you impact the business using your design skills. Talk about that. Talk about numbers in your case study. Talk about your process. How did you follow that? How did you reach to the optimal solution, right? Talk about the iteration that you did. What sort of user feedback you got? What sort of feedback you got from the client? I mean, what sort of feedback you got from the stakeholders in terms of your product manager, right? What your product manager was saying, what you were saying. How did you disagree with them? How did you agree with them, right? So all those things you can just put in your case study and then create a story in terms of like how did you impact the business using your design skills. And when you are going to the next company, never let them know. Never tell them ki you were suffering from this challenge. They were not thinking of you. They were not treating you as a integral part of the product team. They were treating you the one who just creates the visuals on, right? And whereas the UI UX design is a product role, we are the part of the product team, right? But in most of the companies, the people who do not understand the value of UI UX, they think as a graphic designer, you are a graphic designer. You are just creating the product. I mean, you are just creating the visuals, not even a product. You'll have to during the case study, never bitch about your current employer or your past employer, right? But let them know how did you impact the business. So you might be having that numbers. If you do not have that numbers, then take it from the data team. Like how many, like once you have launched that features, how did you, impact that business? How did you impact that product? For example, you have created some feature, and due to that, the customer acquisition has went up basically, right? Earlier you were having only 50k downloads of your mobile application. Once you've launched that feature, they were 100k, 50 it is almost 100% increase into your customer acquisition, right? That you can talk. How did you retain the existing customers? How did you help them out? Talk them in numbers. Earlier you were just working on the mock-up projects. Those two case studies were mock-up projects. So you do not have numbers there. In that, you're gonna explicitly talk about your design process. But now you have numbers, right? If you do not have, talk to product managers, talk to your data team, take that numbers, put them into your case study, right? And then start applying for the design. And don't and one more challenge you might be facing, as you already have, you might be having 6-9 month experience, 6 to 9 months, right? Or it's more than that.
Before this Cogmac, I was working in Acowale.
So what I was saying, you were talking about how can you just create a case study from current ground. What you need to do now, you need to pick any of the project that you did recently or in your tenure with Cogmac. All right, pick that project, pick up the numbers where you have the good numbers. Pick that project. Right? You might be having couple of projects, right? Couple of features with Cogmac. So pick one feature that has made the larger impact on the business that you have created or you have designed. and add that feature or create your case study around that feature. What was the problem statement? Why you were solving that, and how did you solve that? And later on, what were the outcomes of that solution? Please.
The project is not it's still on the development process right now. For that case, how will I do it?
God. So, have you ever shipped? Have you sh- ever have you shipped any of the project that is already in the market that users are using it, or since you have joined, you have not shipped any design to the development team or that went to the public?
Yeah, it's not shipped yet. It's something right now the development team will handle the project that I did, and after that they will launch it.
So, how long it's been with Cogmac? Like, how long you're working with Cogmac?
Right now it's I right now currently it's 3 months right now.
It's been 3 months you are working with Cogmac, right?
Yeah.
Then in that case, what you can do, my friend, and talk about the what you were doing, why you did it, and how you were doing it. 3 things, and then bottom in the bottom, you can talk about your learnings from that feature or from that design. What did you learn from that design? What did you learn from your design process? What did you learn from that feature, right? What sort of takeaways were there, so that you can talk about? And one can you share your link to your Behance so that I can have a look on your current case studies? Then I can just make you a couple of suggestions also. And one more thing, meanwhile you is sharing the link. Whenever you are applying for any company, don't apply in a bulk. Right?
Okay.
Do not use that tactic whenever you are seeing the easy apply button on LinkedIn and you are applying everywhere. Check their design team. How many people are there in design team? Right? Once you have figured that out, then look what they are looking for.
Yeah.
Then craft your resume according to that. Then customize your resume according to that job description. That's how we get into product-based company. That's how we get the interview call from product-based companies. For example, you are applying for XYZ company and they are expecting the people who has already worked into the B2B space, right?
Okay.
And then figure out what sort of projects you did in B2B space, whether they are mock-up or the real project. And then emphasize more on them in your resume. Getting my point?
Yeah.
So that's how you'll have to apply to the product-based companies, and then you're gonna start getting the interview calls. Let me check. Design-wise, it looks good to me. And from which company or from which design institute you have completed your design course?
Designers Academy.
Your case study somewhere looks good to me, and you have participated in Swiggy Furnitures also. I see that, and you have one more project, Magic Lamp. My friend, I can say these projects looks like more of a freshers project, or as they were good to get the first job. But now you'll have to work a little bit more on the presentation also. Because what I'm seeing, there's a whole lot of text, but somewhere storytelling is missing in your portfolio, right? Somewhere that crux of UI UX is missing, right? Your UI UX case study is also a product for the recruiters. You'll have to cater that requirement also. I'm seeing a whole lot of misalignments in case study, a lot of cognitive load because you have put a whole lot of text there, and there's also visual hierarchy missing in your portfolio. Please make sure to emphasize on those points. If you do have that complete case study in your Figma file, then you can edit it and then recreate it. So you'll have to improve a little bit in your case study also in the existing one, and the one you will be create that quickly within 12 days. Finally start working on your case study. I'll be available on LinkedIn. Whenever you have made some progress, you can share the Figma file or anything that you have to showcase me. I'll gonna share my review there. And in those case study, as you're already working somewhere, so company might not be emphasizing on the past case study that you have created as a mock-up, right, as a part of your course. Now company would be more emphasizing on the real world case study that you will be creating. So make sure that you are fine-tuning that and you are telling your story, you are telling your design skills, you are tell your gamification there, right? As you already coming from the gaming background, showcase that gamification there, that you know about, right? Showcase your visual design skills in your case study. Then UX also. This your UI UX case study is a product for the recruiters. They'll be looking through. They'll be scanning it out. They might not understand in depth, but they'll be scanning it out, right? So they should be able to get the grasp of it, like what you are telling in your case study, what sort of case study it is, in first or second fold only, right? Or even in first fold only. they should be able to get it, right? So showcase that there. And more on that, one takeaway that I can make you to note of, like whenever you're applying for any job, make sure you are customizing your resume according to that. That's how you're gonna start getting calls from the product-based companies. You'll be using one variation of your resume for all sort of companies. Then you're gonna fit in one company or two companies. That might fit in one or two companies, but it will not be fitting in all the companies you are applying for. That's why people say like I've applied to hundreds of companies and I just got only 2 calls, because they were using the same templatized resume for all the job descriptions, right? You'll have to understand that point. Along with that, now don't apply until you have the real world case study that you're working on, right? And as you told me, like you are not having your design shipped to the users here. In that case, what you can do, you can talk about your takeaways in each process, like in each step. Like for example, you have created information architecture, what you did, how you did it, and why you did it, and what were your takeaways basically. What did you learn from that information architecture when you were creating it? For example, I was not able to get in depth into the process, right? I was not having good understanding, so I was having little tight budget, tight deadline, so that's why I couldn't conduct the secondary research also. So that you can talk about the constraint, you can talk about the conflicts, and you can talk about your learnings also in takeaways, right? So you can make a note of it, like when you're working on your current project case study, make sure you are picking a project that has the largest impact or the larger impact on the users. First thing, you might have worked on a couple of features, so pick that feature and then create a detailed case study of that feature. Start with what you did it, why you did it, how you did it, and what were the what was your learning there. And in each phase, for example, you have created information architecture initially, then like what you did, information architecture, why you did it, like tell about the reasoning behind it, right? Why did you create information architecture before jumping on wireframe? You need to tell that reasoning, right? And then why you did it, right? And then how you did it, how did you create the information architecture. That's where you're going to talk about your process to create the information architecture, like how did you figure out like what sort of content will going to be on the screen, right? That you can talk. And then you're going to talk about the takeaways. What were your takeaways there? What did you learn from information architecture? What sort of mistakes you did, right? We are humans, we are committed to mistake, nobody is perfect there. So what sort of mistakes you have made, right? That you're going to take care in your next project, that you can talk. You need to talk about your vulnerabilities also, and along with like what sort of conflicts came while you were creating that. How did you get the feedback from your stakeholders? How did you tackle with that? How did you tackle the negative feedback, right? How did you design the unbiased information architecture? That you can talk about briefly. And then while you're crafting that case study, please make sure to use your visual design skills, because you might have heard of aesthetic usability effect, right? The things though looks good, human minds won't incline towards them, right? Human mind perceive them, they're gonna work better. So make sure you are crafting your case study in a very aesthetic manner. Right? It has to be visually pleasing. So because if you are like, that's what we're gonna showcase to the potential employer, that the visual part of it, how to hook the customers, how to hook the users, that you can showcase by using your visual design skills. And once you have your case study ready, you can send it to me over LinkedIn, or we can just have the same call like this, then we can take it from there. And now, do you have any other question?
Like how we after that thing, how can I research about any is it are we going to have coaching or something like that? How can I research on that? Right now, the process that we are working, I already talked about the process we are working right now.
I got that.
How will I create the presentation, the exact presentation, the exact process that I follow, or that thing, the exact
I got
presentation.
it.
Yeah.
So as you have not followed the right design process there, so you're gonna bluff little a bit. That's okay. But don't oversell in your case study. Don't write anything that you didn't do it right. So now you are seeing it from the very different distance, right? Now you are already done with your work. Now you can see it from different distance, and now you can look into it, like what sort of challenges you were facing at that time, and how can you make it better. So in that case, you can talk about that process. Directly jumping on information architecture, you could have made the user flow prior to that. You could have conducted a whole lot of activities to understand the users, right? For example, you were working on XYZ problem statement. You said like I was not having enough budget, or our company was not having enough budget or time to conduct the research, and you could have done the secondary research. You could have gone to the market, you could have gone to the gone over the internet, right? And you could have looked for the whole lot of things about your competitors, a lot of things about the same similar product that who are already into the market, how they are doing it, what they are doing it, what sort of gaps they are having. Right? You can, for example, you are having a mobile app, right? Or your competitors are also having a mobile app. You can go over Google Play, and you can just check out the user reviews. Right? So that vulnerability part you can talk about. Once you are presenting your portfolio to the potential employee, you're gonna talk about that. You're gonna tell about that story. That I was not having enough budget, otherwise I could have done it little more better than this. So you're gonna talk about the assumption, you're gonna talk about the hypothesis, and bluff little a bit also. Exaggerate the numbers also, because human minds are pretty obsessed with numbers. Talk little number also, then add numbers in your case studies. Like, so we have assumed like our sales will gonna grow 10%, 20%, right? We're gonna see the rise in our sales. We're gonna see the rise in our customer acquisition. We're gonna see the rise in the CTR or XYZ feature, right? That you can talk about. So you might not be following the ideal process or ideal design practice that everybody do follow or the best companies follow. It happens with everybody. I have been also into the same shoe earlier. In couple of companies, I failed to educate my stakeholders the importance of design process. Right, over a period of time, I've learned about the design process and how can I sell it to them. How can I sell it to them basically? Right? How can I make them buy in into my design decisions? That I've learned it over a period of time. That's a craft. That's art basically. So, but still, when you're creating your case study, talk about that in terms of if you would have given more time, what you could have done. You can talk about the assumptions also. Because in UI UX design, we visually work with the assumptions, right? As you might not be having direct interaction with the users, still you are working with the assumptions. You might be thinking this feature will gonna add value to the user's life. Or your product managers might be thinking about this feature will gonna add value to the user's life, but it is not actually truth, right? Nobody knows about the users, right? Until you conduct the research. These are also assumptions. So you can add your assumption there. You can add your hypothesis there to the Now what else?
Since the project is not shipped yet, so like I from my end, the least that I did is user testing. The
Usability testing.
Yeah, usability testing.
That's great.
That thing is it went very well because like after I tested to 7 to 10 people, and it really get well. I make some scenario, like I give them some tasks to do, but I didn't do that on the base tasting. That's why I didn't get the heat map and stuff. Then how can I present that? How can I present that in my case study?
So as you said, that's where you got the interaction with the users, right?
Mhm.
So make sure you are emphasizing more on the usability testing. When you are telling your story, you know the hero, right? Now you have your hero, which is usability testing. You can talk about in general, like I was approaching wireframe, I was approaching information architecture, keeping in the mind as we are having tight budget, we'll not be initially talking to the users. We have made sure we can test our designs. We can test out our designs with the direct users in usability testing sessions, right? So that you can emphasize more and then explain that what you did it, why you did it, how you did it, and what were your takeaways. In that you can talk about your takeaways, the feedback that you got. How did you iterate on that feedback? That you can also talk. So that's an interesting thing that you can put to your case study. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any other question?
Not now. Like I think I will have a lot more in the future, I guess.
Great. So we can connect again whenever you find time or whenever you feel like you need some help. You can just click on my Calendly schedule and you can book it from there. All right.